Hi everyone. Okay, this is going to be a different video. So I've had people ask me about my heritage, about what is as a Romani gypsy. So different Roma will have different opinions. I've done my DNA. I've done it. I've seen what it shows. I've done a lot of research as well as to our origins. So Romani gypsies say they come from northern India. I think it's more a case of we left through northern India, so you know, the Durrant, the Punjabi areas. I've done my DNA, and there's a lot of South Indian in there. So it's my belief, and I've spoken to native Indians, and they've also agreed that the Romani were nomadic Indians. So they weren't from the north or the south; they were just Indian. They were just from India. They just travelled in India, but they were pushed out through the north, or certainly lived in the north regions before they left. Now, different tribes took different routes. My dad's side went through Asia. I showed very heavily, West Asia and South Asia. My mum's side, from what I've had, because they've both done their DNA as well, and my mum's side, hers pretty much went straight to Europe. Hers were in Europe a lot sooner than what my dad's were. If I can find a picture, I'll show you a picture of my parents, and you'll see what I mean. My dad is very, very dark looking. So they spread out and they travelled all over the world. And some went to different parts of Europe. Some settled in Romania. Some settled in Poland. Some settled pretty much everywhere. Our family came to the UK. I can't change that. That's what happened. Like I said, so I've done my DNA. I'm losing my train of thought. So I've done my DNA. Done my own research, and that's the general theory, that we were Indian and then we ended up in different parts. That's why you have so many different branches of the Romani culture. And unfortunately, in England, we have very much lost our way. You know, I've spoken to a lot of Romanis from different areas, from different countries, and they're still very, very traditional. In the UK, we've really lost an awful lot. And we're not the same as Irish travellers, although we are both white. And I think that's where the confusion lies. People seem to think that to be a gypsy, you are either dark-skinned or you are Irish. There's no in between. And that stereotype does need to be jacked, right? And so my dad's side, they were in Italy the longest. When they hit Europe, they were in Italy the longest. So they're classed as Italian Roma. And then they came to the UK, I think, in the mid-1800s. So they were here a lot later. They stayed in other parts of Europe and in Spain and Italy a lot longer. I guess they liked it there. Don't blame them. Whereas my mum's side, they came to England in the 1750s. I found records of it. And they settled in Buckinghamshire. Whereas my dad's side, they were from all over. They went all over the UK. They're literally, you know, my dad's a Lancashire man, so he's from Lancashire. His dad was from Northamptonshire. He's got Leicestershire, he's got Lincolnshire, he's got Yorkshire Coopers. So many different regions. It's quite fascinating. Anyway, I digress. So why are we white? We live in England. What do you expect? You know, skin pigmentation. In England, we don't get the sun. We don't get it. You know that. Everyone bitches out. It's a rainy country, and it really is. It rains a lot. And that's just the nature of it. And plus, we have been living here. I mean, the first recorded Romani in the UK was from the 1400s. That's how far back some families go when they came to England. And bear in mind, as much as people say, oh, I'm full blood, this and that, there's no such thing. If there was, we would still look Indian. We do not. Even though the European Romanis don't look Indian anymore, because they did mix with locals. Sometimes that was the only way to survive, is to mix with locals, and that is what happened. That's why we are white. We can't help that, but we can't change our bloodline. That's just what happened. And within the culture, usually when you would marry someone who is a gorger, someone who's a gadget, someone who is a non-gypsy, they would kind of come into the culture, and they would learn the culture, they would learn the ways, and then they would be classed as Romani, bloodline or not. A lot of families will disagree with that because they don't like to face the fact that they are white for a reason. That's just the way it went. We can't change it. Get over it. And unfortunately, in the UK, we have lost so much tradition. You know, on my dad's side, this on my dad's side. Yeah, on my dad's side, there's a lot of Kalderash. on his side. So a lot of traditions that my dad does still have that came from the Kalderash side, which were passed on. But a lot of that, I mean, a lot of UK Romanis don't even know their original tribes. They just, I'm an English gypsy, and that's not really the case. But anyway, that's up to them. So I've got no doubt I'm going to have slaggy comments for this. But that's just the way that it goes. So a Romani gypsy in England is what you would class as an English gypsy, an English traveller. That's how a lot of them identify. Now a lot of them don't even use the word Romani anymore, which is a shame because it shows they don't know their roots. And I think that your roots is one thing that you should always know, something you should always be proud of, and it's something that should never be hidden. There were some people in the past, especially some families, that did choose to hide it. Some people chose to not tell their kids what they are because they wanted to be part of the society, because gypsies were never accepted, and they're still not to this day. And it's one thing I always say is that gypsies in the UK are the one race that will never be accepted. You know, it's just as bad now as it ever was. You know, and there was some pretty horrific stuff done over the years. I mean, I've done a lot of research, and you know, my mum's side were Gitano and Iberian kale, so they were in Spain, and you know, with them, the stuff that the Spanish did to the gypsies back in the medieval times is barbaric, is sick. So as much as you guys don't kill us in the UK, I'm pretty sure you try. That's just the way that it is, and I don't think that something's going to change because people don't change their mindsets. Anyway, but that is what the Romani culture is in the UK. That's where we come from. You do have a lot of Roma in Europe who claim that English gypsies are not Romani because we are white. So there is a lot of racism within our own culture as well, especially because there's so many different variations of the cultures now. Yes, we came from the same place originally, but where we spread out to different countries, they took on different or created different traditions, and everything is different in different countries. But that is just the brass balls of it. I've got no reason to mollycoddle anybody when it comes to this stuff. That's the brass balls of it. It's a hard life. It's not easy. But it's important to be proud, and it's important to know your roots. Like I said, I did my DNA, I've done my family tree and stuff, and it's enlightening to know what your ancestors have been through, because it gives you an awful lot more knowledge about everything that they went through to get where we are today. You know, we have educations, we can have jobs, we aren't thrown in water anymore, we aren't hung for being gypsies, and that happened a lot. A lot of us were hung, a lot of our ancestors were hung just for being who we are. So yeah.